Hey everyone, welcome back for a new video. This time we've got the latest chapter of One Piece. Chapter 1134, The Owl Library. But before we get into that, Merry Christmas everyone. I'm a bit late on the video, so it's now Christmas when I'm recording this. Hope you all got some great gifts, had some great time, and, well, what did you get? I'll show off something I got. Here's my gift. Hope that's all right. Now let's dive into the chapter. So we open up with an amazing cover picture. I'm not entirely sure what's going on here, but they've all got water guns, and there's no Frankie. I'm guessing he's piloting General Frankie or something. But this is an amazing little cover. I love these little things. So that was good to see. So I love how we open up with Luffy setting out to what he promised to do, and thanks Sal for looking after Robin, even though he's tried to talk like really formally and proper and whatever, and it's just coming out really awkward. And I also love on this next page how Robin talks about how she's now got friends that will stand and protect her, and there's just this image of not all the Straw Hats, the generally goofy ones, sobbing and saying that they'll protect Robin forever. So everyone bar like Sanji, Zoro, Luffy, and Jinbei. And also it turns out here that Sal reveals that the whole him falling down and not getting up was a whole act that he put on. It was sort of obvious last chapter, but confirmed he was just messing around. So thank you, Sal. And we move on to the next bit where Lilith introduces herself to Sal as Vegapunk, which obviously confuses him a little because last time he saw Vegapunk was the old man. And it turns out that Lilith asked them to bring along this weird box, and inside, a perfect copy of Vegapunk. Not like one of the satellites, actually a perfect copy of Vegapunk. So even though he died, I guess he's coming back. So I guess that was all part of his plan. And what I find interesting on this next page is that Bonnie, still in her child form, asks if Lilith / Vegapunk will be able to, make sorry, I forgot his name for a moment there. Make Kuma all better. And she says yes. That'll be interesting. A restored Kuma. Probably on Luffy's side. Or maybe he'll go back to the revolutionaries. And after all this, we are introduced to a new character. Sal's secretary, Ange. Or Angie. I'm going to say Ange. But we'll get a pronunciation at some point. So we then get introduced to, I love these overarching shots, but we get introduced to a cool new place. It's called the Walrus School. It's where the kids of Elbaph learn, they say. So they speculate, it's basically a warrior training ground. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Maybe they're learning other things. And at this point, it looks like the Straw Hats are going to split into three here. So Sal is going to take Robin, Chopper, Nami, and Brooke to the library, and then Frankie and Jinbei are going to check out the giant tree, and Luffy, Usopp, and Zoro are going to stay at the school with like the kids, I guess. And the kids are chasing them, and Zoro's like, oh, should I slash him? It's like Usopp's like, no, of course not. Zoro. So then next page we kind of get that same dynamic we see in One Piece a lot, where the boys act up, and so the giant boys have acted up. They're chasing Zoro, Zoro, Luffy, and Usopp around, and then the girl giants are like, no, don't chase them down, don't call them pipsqueaks. But interestingly, the kids on this page say that they're not actually training to be warriors. So maybe they're not. Elbaph don't train warriors anymore. And next page is another kind of funny one, where they're like, "You should probably move. You're gonna get yelled at." It turns out, new character. They're standing on top of a giant lady called what's her name here, Ripley. And I saw people online getting thirsty over her, just like Gerd. So got another giant baddie to worry about, I suppose. So next up, we get a bit of Elbaph history, where the great King Harold once said, "Don't fight other countries, trade with them." So he was trying to reform Elbaph rather than making them fighters, making them perhaps an economic powerhouse. But before he could realise that, he got killed by his son Loki. And because of that, they did not want to give Loki the throne, so they don't have a king right now. That's really interesting. And I also find this next bit interesting, where Ripley was saying she was interested in seeing Luffy's white-haired form. And again, Luffy calls it his free form. Every time someone asks him about Gear 5, he always calls it his free form, which is cool. It is the epitome of freedom. So always nice to see a reference about that. And apparently his Gear 5 form looks like a mythological Elbaph warrior. Be interesting to hear more about that, I think. But then we change scenes now. We're going with the group that went to the library. And Saul explains what happened 20 years ago. He escaped with his life and ended up at Elbaph. But concerned about the books that the Aharans risked their lives to save, he asked Hadrudin to take him back to Ahara and recover those books. And humorously, Robin's carrying a book, and the moment she steps inside the library, it gets giantized. So you get giant books. So all these Aharan books have been gigantified. And again, as I said, I love overarching shots, and here's an overarching shot of the Owl Library, as they call it, and it looks amazing. And Sal says he's finally excited to be able to show Robin the library, and there's a cute panel of her just with tears welling up in her eyes. This obviously means a lot to her. But then we change scene again, and now we're in the underworld with a still chained up Loki speaking to some mystery person via what is called a snow transponder snail. And normally the appearance gives away who they might be, but honestly, I haven't the foggiest who this might be based on this transponder snail's appearance. But the mystery person talks about a traumatic experience, right? And Loki says that if he were in his place or their place, he would have razed it to the ground and killed them all instead. What incident is he talking about? And this speaks a lot about Loki's character, that he just chooses violence. But we approach the final pages of this chapter, and probably the most intriguing, in that the feast seems to have started, the celebrations have started, but at the castle, I assume that's the Elbaph castle, there's a kind of beam. I don't know if it's a beam of light or whatever, but then we cut away and we see two hooded, cloaked characters, and they're revealed. One is a young female, but the other one appears to be Shanks. Now, I've seen a lot of speculation online, and they think there's been a lot of suggestions there might be a clone Shanks or a twin of Shanks out there, and this might be the clone/twin of him. It looks very intentionally not shown the side where Shanks should have his scar, so we can't know for sure. I can't see anywhere that shows his scar or his missing arm, so it could be the real Shanks, or it could be this mystery clone people are speculating about. But this person appears to be on Elbaph, and we will see what that means next time. Unfortunately, there's no chapter this Sunday, so we have to wait a week. Hopefully we can keep our anticipation held. But until then, let me know what you thought of that chapter in the comments. Otherwise, I will see you for the next one. Bye.